Oh, hold on. Okay, now I got my mic flipped down. Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of my blind Let's Play of The Witness. Oh! So I'm cleaning shit up here in the quarry. Hopefully I can get this whole place done. But this episode might end. I have a lot of comments from people, which I'm very grateful for. So yeah, over the last 24 hours, I've gotten a bunch of comments. I'm going to read them all out. I enjoy interacting with people. So this could just be a short episode where no actual gameplay gets done. If that's the case, I'll mark it as reading viewer comments, and that'll be that. So let's start. So Josh Payne, the guy who's been consistently commenting on my Witness Let's Play series the most, which I greatly appreciate, on part 20 says, okay, so I asked him how he got into swing dancing, because he linked a video of him teaching a swing dancing class, and I was just like, well, shit, how'd you get into that? I don't know anybody into swing dancing. I don't know if that's from, because I'm in Canada and he's from somewhere in the US. I don't know if it's a timeline thing, so let's see what he has to say. Let's read the first comment first. Okay. He says my comment about jazz music keeps disappearing from here. I probably asked him what kind of music he's into too, because I think I said I was talking about how I'm into jazz, and swing I feel like is like a branch off of jazz. So he says his comment about jazz music keeps disappearing. He says, I think it might have to do with the link to my swing Spotify playlist, so maybe I'll just have to email that to you. Yes, you did email that to me. I did get the email. It was a swing playlist, and there was another playlist on there. I can't remember what it was. I don't really use Spotify, but I own it for the purpose of watching Joe Rogan podcasts sometimes. So I will check that out and just see what kind of music you got going on. I play guitar, so I'm into music. He says, anyway, I was saying that as a swing dancer, I do also like jazz. I like music that makes me want to dance. So my tastes in jazz trends away from cerebral styles intended for listening only. Fair enough. So probably not so much into like bebop and all the crazy, million notes a minute stuff that I do get into sometimes. I like all kinds of jazz. I like that stuff. I like, really smooth jazz, like Kenny G type of stuff I'm really into. Like, I like all kinds of jazz. And swing reminds me of like big band. I mean, I like that sound. He says, but I like to do a lot of different types of swing dancing, so I like a lot of different styles of music for this. Makes sense. Probably salsa and stuff like that would be similar too, I imagine. He continues, from classic big band to small combo jazz, from wild jump blues to smooth Rat Pack singers, from bluesy jazz singers to hot rockabilly. I mean, that all sounds great. That all sounds great, man. I think music's really cool. And I like how different people get into different things, but there's always similarities between different kinds of music. And usually someone who's from Trinidad and Tobago who's into calypso music could come enjoy swing music. You guys could come up here to Canada and enjoy some weird kind of folky, rock or whatever. Like, music's universal. I love that. Okay, so here's Josh Payne's big long comment on how he got into swing dancing since I asked. So we're going to find out a little bit more about somebody here. Feel free to fast forward if you're not into it. But he took the time to type it out. And it's a little personal history of his. And it gives here's the interesting part for me, and maybe for a lot of people, is it gives a certain glimpse into a certain point in time called the late 90s. Which even I was just like a kid in the late 90s. Seems like Josh is a little bit older than me. So, Josh says, as to how I got into swing dancing, it was really just good timing, I guess. 1996 was the summer after I graduated from high school, and one of the musical things I discovered for the first time that summer was ska music. So this is cool. For me, like, I graduated high school in 03. In 96, summer of 96, I had just completed grade 5. That was the last year. My parents got divorced the next summer, the summer of 97, or maybe even earlier than that. Maybe it was in the middle of grade 6. It might have been Christmas holidays 96. Or that might have been it might have been January of 97, actually. My parents got divorced, and 96 was the year my mom was in the hospital for Christmas because she had pneumonia. But anyway, so Josh graduates high school in presumably June of 96. It's the summer. I mean, shit, who doesn't want to be back in the first summer after high school? Some people probably don't, but I imagine most people have good memories of that time. I certainly was having an interesting time just after high school. It was a lot of self-discovery going on. I'm sure the same was for Josh. So let's continue reading. Summer after I graduated from high school, and one of the musical things I discovered for the first time that summer was ska music. That's cool. People in the town I went to high school with were into ska music. There were a few local ska bands that were kind of cool. I didn't really become like a social person until after high school. I was very anxious and I had a hard time making friends and hanging out with people. I didn't hang out with people not at all, but I was like the most acceptable nerd in a semi-normal friend group. I just happened to have like a friend group that I had been developing for a long time, so I had some friends, but yeah, I didn't really start doing social stuff until after school. So I didn't really get into ska, but I'm familiar with ska, where it's like rock, but with horns. It's kind of similar to punk. I mean, there was a lot of ska in like the Tony Hawk games back then, which was a little bit after this time that Josh is talking about. But anyway, during my freshman year of college, Josh says, I went to a number of ska shows and learning by watching other concert goers how to skank to the ska music. I've never heard of that, but obviously skanking is some kind of ska dance, so it makes sense to me. Josh says, I practiced this new skill until I was comfortable with it, and then my sophomore year of college is when I discovered swing. 1997 is right when swing music. I'm gonna just like put my hand on the analog stick of the PlayStation controller to give us a little bit of visual intrigue as I continue to read here. So he's practicing this ska dancing called skanking until he was comfortable with it, and then sophomore year of college, which is the second year of college, is when I discovered swing, he says. 1997 is right when swing music and dancing briefly swept across the U.S. as a major fad. There was a Gap commercial with swing dancing. The swing band Big Bad Voodoo Daddy was featured in the movie Swingers. A song called Zoot Suit Riot was topping the charts, etc. I remember Zoot Suit Riot. Zoot Suit Riot, Riot! I'm not exactly in tune, but whatever. Throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot Suit Riot, Riot! There it is. Run a comb through your coal black hair. Yep, I do remember that one. He says, so for me, I was invited to a party in someone's apartment where the point was going to be to learn swing. A guy who knew a basic step and like one move was showing people what he knew or thought he knew, and then the Zoot Suit Riot song was played. It was such a tiny taste that it made me want to know more, and the follow-up was going with a large group to an actual swing dance lesson in a local bar. I really enjoyed it. So imagine this, being in college, you're having fun, you've been learning this like skanking dancing because you're into the ska scene, and all of a sudden you're learning swing dance, like swing music, which is kind of probably like tangential, you know? I mean, all dancing is similar in a sense, but he's like moving from one music scene to a tangential music scene. He's getting into dancing. He's in college, you know, early 20s probably, or late teens. Yeah, so he says, my experience with skanking to ska music made me feel like this was probably something I could do. For the rest of the group I came with, this was a one-time experience, but I kept coming back every week, trying to pick up more about what other people were doing. Eventually, I took a multi-week class with a friend to learn how to Lindy Hop. Lindy Hop is capitalized, so obviously that's another form, like a specific form of dancing. He says, yeah, it's the more complicated version of swing dancing. I was floored every time I watched it. So that's like, you know, medium or intermediate or advanced level swing dancing called the Lindy Hop, and he's impressed by it. After I started going to dance exchanges, workshops, and even week-long swing dancing camps as often as possible / as much as I could afford, while dancing something like 5 nights a week. During the 90s fad, there were swing dancing opportunities everywhere. So that's his comment on how he got into eventually teaching classes, him and his wife teaching classes on swing dancing. That's cool. I think that's a cool story. You know, it was a bit of a mouthful, but Josh went through the trouble of telling us a little bit of his life story. And isn't that something hopefully we can all relate to? Maybe there's young people watching this. Maybe there's people in their teens. Maybe there's people just in college that are going to watch this. And you can take some inspiration, potentially. Even older people, I can take inspiration from this. We all can. Because I feel like this kind of stuff doesn't happen so often anymore. In fact, this is probably one of the last times where stuff like this was happening, at least a lot more commonly in the world. Goes to college, gets into one form of music and dancing, transfers over to something else. You know, everything is so digital these days. Everybody is so... there's a kind of digital anxiety where, because we're all so used to communicating with one another using the buffer of technology, it's harder to engage with people in person, especially randomly and spontaneously. This sounds like it all happened a bit randomly and a bit spontaneously for Josh, and all of a sudden it took his life down this very specific path that he obviously is really into. A lot of people, you know, the Josh Payne. So I'll get to the future comments in a second. I know Josh Payne did comment another comment a little bit after this in a like this is on my episode 20. So maybe in one of the episode 21 through 24, at some point he comments and says he's 44 years old. So he's 44, I'm 38. You know, we're not so far apart in age. I'm like right at the beginning of millennials kind of thing. He's like right at the end of Gen X, but I'm sure he has some millennial tendencies. I mean, obviously he's a gamer, and I have some Gen X tendencies because I was raised by Gen X parents, and I know what that generation is like, even if I'm millennial. You know, it like in 97, my parents were divorced, but towards the end of 97, I was getting my first computer. So, you know, so there's a little bit of a difference in the trajectory. But yeah, this sounds like a fun, like, coming of age kind of thing that Josh was into. He just, you know, he was a new adult and he got into dancing just through like going to a party or going to a thing. Like, you never know what some interaction is going to lead you to, who you might meet from it, what trail that will lead you down. And that's one of my big takeaways from this story, aside from the specific details of it, you know. And it's cool to know, you know, how Josh gets into swing dancing, how anybody gets into swing dancing. Like, it's cool for me knowing, like, I remember being a kid in the late 90s and seeing Zoot Suit Riot, because I was into music, seeing it, the music video on Much Music here in Canada and whatever else. Kind of having a sense that, like, when he says to me swing dancing was a huge fad in the late 90s, and it kind of took the nation by storm for just a little bit. It's like, I didn't really know that, because I wasn't in a position to know that at the time. In 96, I turned 10 years old. But it makes sense in retrospect. When he says it, I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of shit really was on TV. Like, I remember the name of that band, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. I remember the song Zoot Suit Riot. So yeah, and I can imagine, you know, if you were in the clubs at that time or whatever, a lot of people were probably swing dancing and playing that music. So that's cool. Hopefully I relayed that in a way that people can find value from that, aside from just the storytelling, but also the metaphor. I think that's really important. Not just the metaphor, the reality that if you just let go of the reins for a minute in life and just let yourself have some spontaneous, interesting interactions with the world, you never know where it'll lead you. It might lead you into some new passion. So, okay, so let's continue on with comments. Hey, Josh Payne, subscribe to me. I really appreciate you, buddy. Hopefully whatever games I play in the future after The Witness, hopefully you're into some of those as well. YouTube's funny. Okay, so in my YouTube notifications, it says here, David Phillips commented on episode 1. Did you try Super Mario Odyssey? And once I actually click on the comment, I get here, and his name is Xantier Tasa. But anyway, 1108. Did you try Super Mario Odyssey? What did I say at 1108 in episode 1?
My favorite game, for anybody who cares, of all time is Super Mario 64.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm talking about Mario 64. I'm going to reply right now and say, yes, I loved Odyssey, and in my opinion, it is the second best Mario platformer after 64. I really appreciated Mario's parkour abilities in Odyssey, which was also one of my favorite aspects of 64. What is your favorite Mario game / feature? There we go. Thank you for that comment, David, or Xantier, whatever your true identity is. I really appreciate it. We've also got a comment from Sarveshnal. Looks like a brown guy. Who knows where he's from? Hell, he could be from fucking Canada as much as he could be from India or Pakistan or something. Anyway, he says, I always enjoy blind Let's Plays of this game, and this looks promising so far. Exploration and lore was the most enjoyable part for me in Dark Souls 1 and 2, as well as The Witness. I'm looking forward to playing DS3 and Elden Ring, but haven't gotten around to those yet. Amazing. I'm going to reply to this guy. Hey, thanks for joining. I hope you enjoy the entire Let's Play, and perhaps eventually, well, I won't mention, because I do have DS3 and Elden Ring Let's Plays, but he I'm sure is aware of that. I will say I also enjoy the lore in this game so far, and from Software games, I appreciate that you have to choose to explore and learn if you wish to. This game definitely shares that in common with Dark Souls. I'm going to say something else. Since he mentioned enjoying Dark Souls 2, I really loved Dark Souls 2, but many fans think it's a weaker game in the series. What do you think? And if anybody else wants to reply to this question, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think. But that's awesome. Really appreciate you commenting, Sarveshnal. What other comments have we got? Okay, so actually, yeah, here in my YouTube notifications, it turns out his name is Sarvesh Nalawade. Hopefully I said that right. Wherever you're from, man, appreciate having you here. I enjoy connecting with all enjoyers of video games. Okay. We've also got in episode 21, Josh Payne commenting. Okay, so here's the comment about... or no, this is more about swing dancing. Josh Payne says he learned to dance swing when he was living in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I don't even know where Ann Arbor, Michigan is, actually, to be honest. I remember it's one of the places that the movie American Pie 2 takes place in. But yeah, where is Ann Arbor in Michigan? Is it on like Lake Huron? Is it on the other side on Lake what would that be? Lake Michigan? No. Lake Yeah, Lake Michigan, right, is on the west side of Michigan. Yeah, I don't know. I could look at a map, of course. I know where Detroit is. That's about it in Michigan. Josh says the bar where we danced was called the Blind Pig. LOL. That's a funny name. He says the DJ for the dance played mostly swing music, but his main thing was that he was a rockabilly DJ, which influenced the music that was played there and the way people learned to dance. Rockabilly is kind of like folky, like hillbilly rock kind of thing. Like, not to sound insulting, but I'm just trying to describe it. It's like similar to like a more high energy bluegrass or something like that. I like bluegrass. I'm not like super well versed in all like country genres and different genres. Like, but for me, the genres of music that I really know well are like jazz, metal, classic rock, pop, like 80s rock, 90s stuff, video game music. He says this video has footage of my dance scene, though somehow I wasn't there the day it was filmed, but only from 9:50 to the end. The first part of the video is about the adjacent but distinct dance scene in Detroit. So Ann Arbor maybe is near Detroit. Maybe it's even like part of the greater Detroit area. He says the girl with the halter neck top that you see dancing at 9:50 is actually my ex-girlfriend from that time. Okay, so this is, yeah, so if anybody wants to check out part 21 and see a little bit of a little slice of history out of the Ann Arbor / Detroit dance scene with swing music and rockabilly influences, Josh linked a video for us, so that's cool. So yeah, I guess Ann Arbor is part of Detroit, which really isn't that far from me. I mean, I grew up right here where I am right now, which is the Niagara region, which is really only, I think, 5 or 6 hours away from Detroit. So that's cool. Very much similar vibes as far as like being part of the Rust Belt and just having a lot of old broken down factories, and everything's kind of more poor because there's not as much industrial money flowing through. Can definitely relate with that. Josh says, have you watched the TV show The Queen's Gambit? Because if not, you gotta. Now, this might be in reference to me talking about chess in this one. I have not. I have not seen The Queen's Gambit. I'm going to reply to that quickly here. I don't reply to all of Josh's comments because a lot of them I just reply to in the video like this, and I know he's going to wind up listening to it, so I have not. It's about chess. All right, we'll let him reply to that in that comment. And then new subscriber, Tomas Drvostep. I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you so much for subscribing, Tomas. Yeah, there's Sarvesh's comment about enjoying blind Let's Plays of this game and being into kind of the obscure nature, self-discovering nature of the lore in this game, similar to Dark Souls 1 and 2. So Josh has comments in part 23 of this Let's Play. He says, I already mentioned SnowRunner. Oh, because I'm asking people what their favorite games are. So he already mentioned SnowRunner. Others are modded Minecraft. You want to hear something funny? As a huge gamer, strangely, and even as someone who's into creativity, I've never played Minecraft even once. Isn't that just bizarre? Hollow Knight. I love Hollow Knight. So Josh is into Hollow Knight. I am like 99% of the way through Hollow Knight and still just haven't gone back to finish the game. So nobody spoil Hollow Knight for me, please. But yeah, Hollow Knight was really sweet. Any of the mainline Final Fantasy games, and also Tactics, which you mentioned before, a game that badly needs a proper sequel, by the way. That would be amazing to get a great sequel of Tactics. I mean, obviously it got the Game Boy Advance version. Yeah, I don't know. I would almost be scared of them doing a sequel or a remake because I would be scared of them not living up to my expectations. I know we all have our own individual expectations based on our like favorite games and stuff. But yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics is incredible. I also love the mainline Final Fantasy games. Out of all the numbered entries, I've beaten all of them except 10-2. I haven't beaten any of the 13 trilogy, and I haven't beaten 16, but I have beaten the rest, and I do love Final Fantasy games. My favorite one, owing probably partially due to nostalgia, is Final Fantasy VI. That game's incredible. But yeah, I love them all. Mario games, and yes, Mario 64 is great. Thank you. You have an acceptable opinion on Super Mario 64. I will not tolerate slander of Super Mario 64. No, I'm just kidding, but I will lose respect for people's opinions if they bash Mario 64 too hard. That's just how I feel. But Josh says my favorites are still Mario 3 and Mario World. Hey, great choices, man. Those are excellent games. I grew up on those games. Mario World is like, for me, like a 2D equivalent of Mario 64. They're both just really incredible. So I super get it. Thanks for letting me know, man. So yeah, we have a lot of similarity in game tastes for sure. And yes, Josh says, "Oh, and I'm 46, by the way." Sweet. Okay, 46. Okay, so he's actually he's like older cousin, older uncle vibes for me. I'm 38, he's 46. So you were born in what, 78, Josh, or something like that? Maybe 79 or maybe 77. Wait, how does that work? If he's 46 right now, it's 2024. He could turn 47. So he was born in 77 or 78. And then one more comment from Josh on part 24. Josh says, "Oh, this is a whoa. This is a long comment. Okay, this one seems to be about the game actually. And then wow, this has been half an hour of comments. This is definitely a separate episode. Well, hopefully some people enjoy this. I enjoy this personally. I enjoy interacting." Josh says, "I'm a bit confused why you persisted in thinking in." Dude, my mic turned off so fucking long ago. I've been talking. Son of a fucking bitch, man. Why? God damn. How long has my fucking mic been off? I'm not fucking re-recording this episode. God damn it. Well, I did read through a lot of fucking comments on here. Oh my god, that's so fucking annoying. Well, we'll see how much I lost once I finish recording. Ugh. God damn it. Should I just re-record this whole fucking thing? God damn it, man. Fucking Christ. Well, I'm assuming I just lost like probably more than half of the recording here, so I'm just gonna end the episode here. If it works, I'll upload it, and then I just won't have the rest of Josh's final comment here, but I'll reference it in future episodes since it's relevant to the gameplay. Fuck, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this fucking episode. Should I re-record the whole thing? I don't know. I'm like immediately fucking pissed off now. Ugh, only have so much fucking time in the day to do this stuff in, and I'm just wasting it by little fucking technical trivialities. Well, whatever. This is the end of episode 25 then, where I just read everybody's comments. Thanks for listening. Like, share, comment, subscribe. It all helps. Fucking goddamn it. I'll see you in episode 26, I guess. Peace out.